Looking at these two examples, we want to first go back to page 95 in the book and look at the approach for determining limits of a rational function. And what you want to do is you want to take the highest power of x in the denominator and divide top and bottom by both the highest power of x in the denominator. When you divide top and bottom by the same thing, you're really just multiplying by 1, so it doesn't change the limit. So let's look at your first approach here. The highest power of x in the denominator would be x squared. Another thing to note your book talks about on page 98 is recall that you can rewrite the square root of x squared as the absolute value of x. And more so, if x is greater than 0, in this case if x is going to infinity, you can just replace that with x. And if x is going to minus infinity, you can replace that absolute value of x with minus x. So in this case, you want to divide top and bottom by x squared, which you did great there. But in the numerator, it looks like you divided it by x cubed. You really should divide it by the square root of x to the 4th. Because the square root of x to the 4th is the same thing as x squared. In this case, we don't have to worry about the positive or negative because x squared is always positive. So in that case, we don't have to worry about switching things. So this would actually be 1 over x, and then this would be 4 over x cubed, and then this would be 9 over x to the 4th, all under the square root. And then denominator, you did that great. So you got this minus 2 here, but this would actually be 0 over minus 2, which would be going to 0. The second problem, the highest power of x in the denominator is the square root of x. Great, you did that right, but you'd also have to divide by the square root of x in the numerator. Right? So this would end up going to 0, but this would actually be going to infinity. So you have something on top going to minus infinity over something that's going to 2, your answer goes to minus infinity. So you want to make sure that you divide the top and bottom by the same thing. Here, you don't change out, you don't have to write it anything differently because you just leave it as the square root of x. But x over the square root of x would equal just the square root of x in the numerator, which that going to infinity, but the negative out in front of it means this whole thing is going to minus infinity. And the denominator is going to 2. Looks like goes to 2, so therefore the answer is minus infinity. So hopefully this video helps. If you have any other questions, please let me know.